Hi, and welcome to another Business Tube podcast. And today's podcast, we're going to be looking at trade unions. Now, I have a definition for you on the board. I'll just go over that quickly with you. So, a trade union is basically an organisation that workers can join. And the workers join with a view of the trade union protecting them. Okay, so the workers join them, and the trade union is going to protect the workers' working conditions, their rights, try and get them a pay rise, and try and look after those workers that have joined the trade union. Okay, it's often called a workers' union as well. So that's how. Don't know what it's going to be called in the exam. It could be a workers' union or a trade union. They are the same thing. So the trade union, the workers' union, is there to protect the workers. Okay, so the workers join the union in order to have their rights protected. Now, if you're watching this for the first time, guys, I have uploaded some useful videos onto the Frog site that do explain trade unions for you. If you're watching this as a recap, guys, then I will just go through the slides. Now, first of all, one of the things that you need to know is basically how do trade unions try to influence the employer. Now, trade unions basically allow the workers to join together, and we have what we call strength in numbers. Now, if you think about it like this, if I was to go to the boss of my school and I was to say, knock on the door, bang, 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 and say, give me a pay rise, and it was just me on my own, what would the education manager of the school say to me? They'd probably say, Mr. Oldale, I'm sorry, but no, I'm not going to pay you more money, goodbye. And in the worst case, they might even say, no, leave your job and go. We don't want you in this company anymore. Because that's me on my own, and me on my own don't have much strength. But with a trade union, the idea is that the workers all join together, they band together, and what we have strength in numbers. Now, if you think about this situation instead, if every single teacher in the school, every single one of us decided to join together and knock on the door and say, we're not paid enough, we're not happy with how we're being treated, we don't like the conditions, and we think you should pay us more, we want a pay rise. Now, because all of the teachers have gone there together, the school couldn't possibly sack everybody. They couldn't just sack all of the teachers, because then you guys would be coming into school the next day saying, where are our teachers? Who's going to teach us? You'd have some very, very angry parents and some very, very angry students who weren't getting an education. So when all of the teachers go, we have strength in numbers, and that's what trade unions are all about. And then the business would have to give the workers the pay rise and take more care of their rights and their working conditions. Okay? Now, on the board, some of the things that trade unions would do. So if all of the workers went to the boss of the company and said, give us a pay rise, and the boss still said no, then what all of the workers would do, and this is the key one here, they would go on strike. Now, what is striking? Well, if you think back to the video that you've watched in class, striking is basically when you say, right, that's it, we're not happy about this, we're not happy that you haven't given us a pay rise, we want a pay rise because you're not paying us enough. And the workers will strike. And a strike is basically where the workers say, right, tomorrow we are not coming in to work. So we're not going to come into school. So you can have the kids turning up here, all of the students, the parents are dropping them off at school, and they're going to get here and there will be no teachers. And that is what we call striking. Okay, where the workers just say, right, that's it, we're not going to work. Unless you give us our pay rise, we are not coming into work. Okay? And just remember, the school couldn't possibly sack everybody. In order to fill an entire school with teachers, it would probably take at least 1 year to find enough staff to fill the school again. So the school couldn't possibly just sack everybody because they were striking. So the workers are trying to get their rights, they're trying to get what they want by joining a trade union. Now, you do need to be aware of what the benefits and drawbacks of trade unions to both the employer and the employee. And maybe you're not thinking this at the moment, that there are some benefits of trade unions. I know trade unions protect workers, but there are some benefits of trade unions to the employer. Okay? Now let's go over these. First of all, on here we have the benefits of and the drawbacks to the employee. So the benefits, first of all, guys, there's more chance of getting the working conditions and higher pay and more holidays. So if the workers all join together and they all are part of a union and they ask for better health and safety conditions, they ask for more holidays, they ask for better working conditions or higher pay, then the trade union should be able to get them that. That's the whole purpose of being a member of a trade union. The trade union can also provide the workers with advice. So if the worker is being treated badly or being bullied or being treated unfairly by their company, the trade union will give advice to the worker. And in many cases will give legal advice, because they have lawyers who work for the trade union and they can give legal advice to the workers. And if it doesn't get resolved, the trade union will also take the business to court and represent the worker and be their lawyer in court and sue the business for the worker. This is why you pay to become a member of a trade union. The trade union then will protect you and protect the workers. Okay? Again, we have strength in numbers, so we have a more powerful voice. If all the workers band together, then we have strength in numbers, and that means they can get pay rises, because if the employer, if the business doesn't give the pay rise, what are the workers going to do? Well, they're going to go on strike. They're going to refuse to work, and that's really, really bad for the business. And we'll look at why in a moment, why striking is bad for the business. Okay? Workers will have their rights protected because they're a member of a trade union, so the trade union will look after them. If they're being unfairly treated, if they're being discriminated against, the trade union will protect the workers. Remember, trade unions are all about protecting the workers, their members, their employees. There is a drawback of trade unions to the workers, and the drawback of trade unions is that the trade union doesn't do all of this for free. The worker has to pay to join a trade union. There is a monthly subscription fee that you have to pay to be a member of a trade union. So that is a drawback of being in a trade union, that you do have to pay. For those of you that are going for A's and B's as well, guys, the other one that we have done in class, sometimes maybe you don't want to strike if you're a worker. So another drawback here, maybe you don't want to strike, maybe you think, no, I'm happy with my pay, but all of the workers vote to strike, and you're going to pretty much be forced to strike even if you don't want to, because you're a member of the trade union. Okay, so that's just another drawback to the employee. To the employer, here's the benefit to the employer. Now, we think of striking as being bad news for the business, and it is bad news for the business. I'll go over that more in a second. But the benefits of trade unions to the employer, remember this is to the business, is that if the workers have the correct pay, if they have better working conditions, better holidays, if they have their rights protected and they feel safe and secure, what does all this fit in with? This fits in, if you think back to when we did motivation, about job security, about basic needs, security needs. If the worker has all of their rights protected, the workers will be more motivated. So you'll have more motivated staff who want to stay with your business, who don't want to leave and go to a competitor. Remember, it's expensive to find new staff. So if your workers feel like their rights are protected, then they'll be more motivated, they'll work harder, and they'll stay with you for longer. So there is a benefit of trade unions to the business, to the employer. However, there is a massive, massive drawback of trade unions to the business, and that is striking. Now, if all of your workers decide they are not going to come in and they are going to strike because they're unhappy with the pay, that is going to cause massive, massive problems to your business. You're going to have no staff. And if you have no staff, you cannot open your business, you cannot sell to your customers, you cannot give them customer service, and you're going to have some very, very angry customers, and it's going to do some really bad damage to your reputation of your business. Strikes are bad, bad news to businesses. British Airways is an example of a business that has had strikes in the past, where all of the air stewardesses, all of the air hostesses on the plane decided they weren't going to go into work. They were going to strike because they wanted more money. Now imagine if you're a customer ready to go on your family holiday for the year with British Airways, and then British Airways suddenly sends you a text message or an email saying, sorry, your flight's cancelled, you cannot go on holiday because we have no staff. Imagine how angry you're going to feel to British Airways because their staff have striked. Okay, so strikes can cause major, major disruption and problems to businesses, and they can do huge, huge damage to a business's reputation. So strikes are big, big bad news for businesses. Okay, now this is something we did in class, guys, and what I want you to get from this is, do you think trade unions are good, or do you think trade unions are bad? There's no right or wrong answer to this. Some of you think trade unions should be a right and that all workers should have their rights protected because employees are too strong and they can bully the workers, and they should be allowed to join a trade union. And some of you think, no, trade unions cause too many problems for businesses, they damage the business's reputation, it causes bad news for businesses when workers go on strike. Okay, there is no right or wrong answer. The key thing you need to do, guys, in the exam is the question will say, what are the benefits and drawbacks of trade unions to the workers, or what are the benefits and drawbacks of trade unions to the business? And it will ask you to justify your answer. Now, your answer will be totally wrong if you do that the wrong way around. So if it says, what are are trade unions beneficial to businesses, justify your answer. You must do the benefits and drawbacks of trade unions to the business. If you do the benefits and drawbacks of trade unions to the workers, you will get no marks. So you must be very, very careful, and you must look out and make sure that you look at what the question is asking. Is it asking for the benefits and drawbacks to the employee, or is it asking for the benefits and drawbacks to the employer? And that will totally change your answer. And if you do it the wrong way around, then you will get no marks. So just be careful with that. Okay, that's about it for trade unions, guys. I hope you found that useful. See you next time.